Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Awashai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations, and to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone, coming at you with another lesson, another dire message that the end is near. Prepare yourselves spiritually, then physically. This is Jeremiah 30:7, and it reads, Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
Food shortages are coming all over the world. This just breaking from Reuters and The Guardian. Britain could face a food crisis, shortage of key goods, materials, foods, fruits, vegetables, meats, poultry, due to a lorry driver crisis. Now, I've talked about this before. I'll put the link in the description. This is out of the United Kingdom. Britain could face food shortages due to a lorry driver crisis. Let's read this article together. Britain could face gaps on supermarket shelves this summer in an unimaginable, quote, collapse of supply chains after the pandemic and Brexit led to a shortage of more than 100,000 truck drivers, according to industry leaders. Now, I've talked about this for weeks now, months now, saying prepare for a food crisis, prepare and get food. You need storables, you need 30, 60 days, 6 months, preferably 2 years. And now this, at the same time, inflation is out of control worldwide. The United States of America just came out with a report on CNBC.com earlier today, finally admitting inflation is here. And it might not just be transitory. According to the Federal Reserve, it could be a full-blown problem. Inflation looking really bad. Let me give you some data sets on this. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Core Index, including food and energy, which are the highest rising buckets of prices, is 3.4% in May on a year-over-year basis, somewhat in line with Wall Street expectations, but also the fastest increase since April 1992. Now, again, this measure really isn't representative of the true inflation, because when you look at food, let me just cite bacon, for example. Bacon prices are up 20% just in the last year. You're seeing this in sausage, you're seeing this in steak, you're seeing this in lean protein, fish, poultry. There's been a chicken shortage. So we're seeing all of this spiral out of control. Gasoline up nationally 20% from the pre-pandemic levels and 46% from a year ago. So everybody filling it up at the pumps, going to work, if you're still lucky enough to have a job, those costs are rising, creating a lot of problems for the average American or a UK citizen, or no matter where you are in the world. Now, to me, this is emblematic of a systematic collapse, a fiat collapse of the global reserve petrodollar currency that I've been warning about for going on 13 years now. The declining of Western influence and power, a move to a new digital system, this new bucket that they've intended for some time. Now, interest rates are still at zero. They've been at zero since 2008-09. They're never going to raise them because they can't. The debt keeps going up exponentially because the only thing they can do is print more currency to eventually inevitably reset it to the new system. There's not a lot of growth coming out of the United States. If you study population trends, demographics, economic growth, for example, most of it is starting to develop in Africa. That's actually one of the most exciting places right now in terms of population development and also the economy. It's why many billionaires, many Fortune 500 companies here in the States are starting to look at operations in Africa. We've also seen the equivalent Silk Road. We see China building new maritime pathways, trucking lanes, shipping lanes, all these kinds of things in Africa because it's the one place smart money has all of its focus on right now. So at a time when we still have travel restrictions, as they're warning about new variants coming, supply chain shocks, we have upcoming events like Cyber Polygon, July 9th, I think it is, where they're running simulations on a potential grid down scenario where
2 Ezra 6:24. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. When these lights go off, there's also going to be no water, along with no food, no security, and no safety. The new grocery store is going to be your house, and people are going to come through your doors to go shopping in your kitchen to take what you have.
I just received a massive warning from a military contact that we have known for years, and it correlates with a news story that I want to go over with you. What is normally just a bi-monthly catch-up between friends asking, what do you have looking forward to? How's the family going? Quickly turned into a serious and not normal discussion about our personal levels of preparedness. We talked about how we were going to survive the quickly coming blackout across the United States of America. We're courteous to each other. We don't ask specifics. Of course, we don't ask things like, what level of body armor protection do you have? We ask things like, are you and your family ready to handle a confrontation or a conflict with projectiles? It's those types of things that keep relationships cordial without being intrusive to what each individual has in their own level of preparedness. You see, it's important to know that a person is ready, that they're thinking about these things, but to let them discover what they think is best for themselves, for their family, on their own. This has been our relationship in regard to personal preparedness because, like I said, we're friends first. Then we started talking about refrigeration, freezer stock, canned goods, water resources, a readiness to understand the response time from emergency services, a real understanding of when there's a larger event taking place, what happens when you call 911? Are they going to show up? What happens as we enter into a new era of lawlessness, or this semi or quasi era of lawlessness where the government is shooting down criminal acts? They're okay, they're just letting them happen. And then they are not coming to your aid when you need them the most.
The forever purge. Purge-like scenarios. They are coming. And more than likely, it's going to start this summer, toward the end of the summer, with the new variants and all the other things, this cyber polygon. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, starting at verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. Because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. These Babylonians, aka Americans, are going to turn on one another and feed on one another. Just as it has been said, according to their own science, right? It only takes 3 days of no food for people to it was not 3 days, but 3 weeks or less for people to turn cannibal. All right, just like those mice did in Australia. And cannibalism has been done all throughout history, and it's going to come back again. It is written that it's gonna happen. All right, you lose a fight, you lose a firefight, you lose a physical fist fight, you will probably end up in somebody's pot. They're gonna behead you, gut you like a catfish and eat your limbs. All right, your arms and your legs. Okay? So with that, man, I'm going to give all praises, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, Wa Abba Bal, Kwam Yasharala. And one last thing. Looking at this man, if you watch this video and what he says about what he would do for his family and his children, this man right here will have no problem taking your life and feeding you to his family.